The story opens with a couple enjoying some good time in a boiler room. The encounter is abruptly cut short when the man unexpectedly stops. This makes the woman annoyed, and she departs the scene immediately. It's clear that the two strangers didn't know one another. The man, called Igor, is a plumber by profession and working on a project in an office. He goes to the movies with his wife, Flora, after finishing the work. Though he is trying to maintain happiness in all of his matters in and outside home, but he secretly feels a sense of boredom without children in his life. Flora, his longtime spouse, is hardworking and has a good personality. As the story goes on, the dynamics of their relationship and Igor's internal conflicts become clearer. Flora chooses to start a washing business and work as a housemaid in order to help her husband. However, Igor frequently borrows money from her to cover their daily expenses. Later in the story, another character, Pina, is introduced. In the same office where Igor fixes drains, she works as an office girl. Pina, a single mother, splits her time between working and caring for her son Lorenzo, whom she was granted custody of following a divorce. When Igor and Pina casually meet again in the company cafeteria, there's a hint of tension, as Pina purposefully reveals her skirt, which means she wants to proceed further with Igor. On another occasion, Pina talks to her son Lorenzo about the possibility of her dating someone, but Lorenzo disagrees with his mother's wishes, since he understands the intricacies of relationships between men and women. Later at night, Igor ignores Flora when she tries to get closer to him. The next day, Igor and Pina start having good time in the office, ignoring the fact that it is their workplace. Igor and Pina eventually make the decision to check into a hotel in order to have more freedom, but their plans are derailed when Pina gets a call from Lorenzo that seems to be an urgent request for her to get back home. Igor receives an invitation from Pina for another hotel stay the following day, but he declines because he has to spend the day with Flora. When Pina discovers that Igor's work has been finished in the boiler room at her office, she becomes depressed because she fears she might not see him again. Igor, in the meantime, surprises Flora with a big cardboard box that she initially thought was a washing machine to help with her laundry company. But Flora gets upset when she learns that Igor spent all of their money on a photocopier machine for his personal use. She finds it incomprehensible that Igor purchased a photocopier that is inappropriate for their line of work. In a different scenario, Pina finds scattered toys of Lorenzo and she throws them away in annoyance. This makes Lorenzo upset. In an attempt to cheer him up, Pina gives him a brand new toy car and says she will take him to the park this weekend. In the meantime, Igor follows the instructions to put together the photocopier he recently bought. Flora, despite her initial irritation, finally chooses to learn how to operate the machine, as they decide to open a photocopying business in their small apartment. Somehow Flora becomes suspicious due to Igor's behavior, and she asks him straight away if he is in a relationship with another woman. Igor denies at first, but also becomes worried. Feeling uneasy, Flora decides to spend a few days away from home. Meanwhile, Pina makes an attempt to get in touch with Igor once again, but when her call is declined, she understands that her presence is no longer appreciated by Igor. Igor tells Flora that a lot of people are requesting his photocopying services when she gets back. Later, Igor asks Flora for a casual conversation at a pub in an attempt to mend fences, since they are in a relationship for a long time. Even with Igor's best efforts, their relationship is further strained when he turns down Flora's approaches again when she tries to come closer to him. Pina, who is experiencing her own troubles, condemns Lorenzo for his grumpiness and lack of appetite. To Pina's surprise, Lorenzo unexpectedly says he wants to live with his father. Lorenzo's wish is granted by Pina, in spite of her distress. When his father picks him up the following morning, Lorenzo is dressed like a lion that has been made by Pina. Flora intends to leave the apartment on the same day without telling Igor. She tries to take the photocopier with her, thinking she has the right to it. She loses her life when the machine falls on her while she is moving it down the stairs. Igor and Pina find themselves able to form a new family Against the backdrop of tragedy, with Igor appearing to have been waiting for such an opportunity, they are now free to be with each other without the interference of others due to the removal of those who were once a part of their lives. What are your thoughts about the story? Should we try to get rid of our previous relations to start some new relationships? Comment your thoughts.